Good morning, guys. Good morning, thanks for joining me, and hello to everybody who will be doing this session in their own time, whether that's morning, afternoon or evening. Hello. So today we've got our beginners yoga session. Apologies for having to put it back from last weekend, but I was not well last weekend. I'm still recovering from this horrible cold, so apologies if I sound a bit unfit and out of breath. It's because I am, because I'm still getting better from it, but I'm definitely feeling much better now, well enough to do our session this morning. And remember, these sessions are beginners. They are suitable for all ages and all abilities. I'll always offer you some alternatives and some different ways that you can do things to make it more appropriate and more suitable for yourself. So as a general rule for all of my sessions, I always say listen to your own body. So if something doesn't feel right, that's usually your body's way of telling you not to do it. Okay, so if something's not feeling right, just take a breather, sit it out, join me in the next pose, and that's the best advice that I can give you for doing yoga online. If you're unsure at all about anything, just don't do it. Okay, so in today's session we're going to be focusing on our core. So that's not to say that we're going to be building abs of steel. It's more about building up that core stability, which is really important for numerous reasons. Our core is really key in keeping us upright and looking after our spine health, and lots of other things as well. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're just going to be focusing on building up those muscles, and there will be some very gentle exercises, and then there might be some more challenging ones that you might want to try if you feel up to it. So we're going to begin sitting today. So if you've got your mat or your blanket or your rug or wherever you're working, go and get yourself sat down and we'll begin. So I'm sitting cross-legged, but if this is not comfortable for you, you can sit in whichever position feels more comfy. And let's just take a moment to sit ourselves up nice and tall and straight. So imagine you're being lifted up from the crown of your head by an invisible thread, sitting up lovely and tall and relaxing those shoulders down. So I find resting my hands on my knees means that I can fully relax those shoulders, letting go of any tension. And then just give yourself a moment now to begin to slow down and switch off from whatever else might be going on. So you can close your eyes or soften your gaze and just begin to let everything soften and relax. So we're going to be working with our core muscles today, and it's really important that we understand how to relax and release these muscles, as well as how to engage them and start to build up their strength. And when we work with our core, we actually work in harmony with the breath. So we use something called diaphragmatic breathing. So our diaphragm is the top bit of our core. So if you can imagine your core is like a big balloon, and it's all your torso. So the top of it is your diaphragm, the bottom is your pelvic floor, and then we've got the abdominal muscles in the front, the obliques at the side, and the muscles of your back as well. And all of those muscles are linked in a kinetic chain. They all work together in harmony with the breath. So as we breathe in, all of those muscles begin to expand. And as we breathe out, those muscles gently begin to contract and move their way back in. So if you can imagine that balloon inflating as you breathe in and then deflating again as you breathe out, it'll give you an idea of how all of these muscles work in harmony with each other. So let's begin by taking a few deep breaths and starting to connect with those muscles that we're going to be working today. So breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth this morning, if that feels okay to do so. Taking a nice deep breath in, and as you do so, feel the belly expand. And as you exhale through the mouth, feel the belly gently fall. Your belly button drawing in slightly towards your spine. And again, deep breath in through the nose as you let that belly soften and expand. And an exhale to slowly begin to draw those muscles in. Do that a couple more times to get used to that way of breathing. Inhaling to expand and soften. Exhaling to begin to engage those muscles drawing. So we're not just working with our tummy muscles here. As you inhale, think about that whole of that core. So as you breathe in, also think about your rib cage expanding out to the sides. And as you breathe out, think about that rib cage drawing in and up again. And the same goes for the back. We could breathe into the back of the body as well as you inhale. Feel those ribs expanding out and back. And as you exhale, feel them coming back together. And finally, the bottom part of our core, our pelvic floor, is equally important to work. And that works in the same way. As you inhale, feel it soften and relax down. And as you exhale, feel it gently drawing up. So imagine that whole big balloon now. Inhaling and everything expands out and down. And then exhaling, everything gently draws in and up. So I'm going to allow you just to continue with that breath now. Keep connecting in with that movement of those muscles. And this is the first stage of beginning to switch on and work those core muscles. And we work with this breath whatever level we're at in terms of our workout. It's if we're doing a more challenging workout, it's just as important to use this breathing technique to help us. So just take 2 more of those breaths, inhaling to soften and relax, exhaling to draw in and up, and one last time. Excellent. And now just let your breath become more natural, so don't try to change the breath in any way. We will come back to that diaphragmatic breathing as we move through the session this morning, but for now I want you to just relax completely. So let your body breathe all by itself, let that breath come naturally. And now thinking about the exhale, allowing us to relax. So as you breathe out, let your shoulders relax down. Let your chest and your belly relax, and let your hips relax down. Relaxing your arms and your legs. Allowing your whole body to feel connected down into the mat. Feeling grounded. Feeling secure. And just take a moment now to remind yourself that there's nowhere else you need to be, and there's nothing else that needs to be done this morning that's as important as taking this bit of time for yourself. So one final thing I want to go through before we start our practice, and that is lighting up our inner fire. So when we work with our core, we tend to associate it with the Manipura chakra, which is located in our solar plexus, and we associate it with the colour yellow. So you might find it useful to visualise the colour yellow. Think about like a glowing ball of light in this area, and it's associated with strength, and we call it our inner fire. So if you feel that maybe your inner fire has gone out a little bit recently, this morning's practice is going to help to relight that fire. So it is an energizing practice, but remember, just do whatever feels right for you this morning. Okay guys, we're going to come into a tabletop position now to begin. So coming onto your hands and knees. And remember to give yourself a little bit of extra padding underneath those wrists and the knees if you need it. So let's start by moving our hips in some circles. So taking them nice and wide round, all the way back towards the heels. And change the direction, take those circles round the other way. Bringing it back to that nice neutral spine once more. So let's return to our diaphragmatic breathing now. It's a little bit more challenging in this position, so it's a step up from what we were just doing in our seated position because gravity is working against us with those core muscles now. So let's come back to that breath. As you inhale, let that tummy just relax down. And as you exhale, start to draw your belly button up towards your spine. And again, inhaling to soften and relax. Exhaling to draw it up. So keep breathing and moving those muscles in that way. And it might feel helpful to imagine you've got a big wide belt around your middle. And as you exhale, you're just tightening up that belt. It's supporting you all the way round that core. And then as you inhale, just loosen it off a bit, let everything hang loose. So just doing a couple more of those. Again, getting used to that sensation of engaging those core muscles. And we can now progress this movement into our cat and cow stretch to mobilise our spine. So as you inhale, you've relaxed your belly down. We're going to tilt the tailbone up, bring the chest forward and lift the gaze. And as you exhale, we start to draw that belly button up towards the spine, tuck the tailbone under and round through the back, dropping your head. Inhale to tilt the tailbone, relax that belly down, lift the gaze. Exhale to tuck the tailbone, draw the belly button up to the spine, round through the shoulders. So do a few more of those in your own time. So even though cat and cow is a spine mobiliser, we're still working with those core muscles. We're working in harmony with that diaphragmatic breathing. And just doing one more of each. An inhale and an exhale. And then come back to that neutral spine once more. So starting to work on a few little balancing poses now. Balance is always good for challenging those core muscles. So I'm just going to move forward slightly so I've got some room behind me. And then I'm going to slide my right leg out behind and lift it up so that it comes in line with the rest of the body. And then flex the foot so you can push back through that heel. Keep this in as a nice active stretch here down the back of that leg. So we've taken away a point of contact with the floor, so already we're starting to feel slightly more wobbly. So we want to switch on those core muscles, draw the belly button up to the spine to help us feel more secure. And then we're going to bend the knee, bring that leg down and draw that knee up towards our tummy and then bring it back out. So the breath here is going to be an exhale as we bring the knee in, draw the belly button up, and an inhale as we bring that leg out and lengthen. So just do that movement a few times, trying to keep those hips nice and still and keep that focus on the core. Okay, we're going to switch to the other side now. Taking the left leg out behind. Kick through that heel. Hold it there for a breath just to engage the core and see how the balance feels on this side. And then let's start to bring that knee in for that little crunch and bring it back out. So really drawing that knee up into the chest. And make sure you're not taking the leg too high as it comes out behind you. If you start to lift it up, you're just working it into your glutes and you're also putting a strain on your lower back. And we're not working in that way this morning. We're focusing on that core. Lovely, nice and slow and controlled as we bring that knee back down. So we're going to repeat that again, but with the option of also bringing in the opposite arm lifting out in front. So if that feels a bit too much for you, a bit too wobbly, you can just repeat the same thing we just did, just lifting one leg at a time. So let's take that right leg out behind, lift it up, and then I'm going to take my left arm out in front, reaching with those fingertips and kicking back with that heel, feeling that hand and that foot working in opposition to each other, as if somebody's pulling your hand forward and someone's pulling your foot back. A lovely big stretch. And then let's bring the elbow and the knee together, drawing it up towards the tummy, and then reaching out once more. So this is more wobbly because we've only got 2 points of contact with the floor, so those core muscles are working a bit harder now. So really focus, keep that gaze down towards the floor. And we'll just do a couple more of these before we move to the other side. Carefully switching sides now, taking the left leg out behind. And if you want to bring in the opposite arm, it will be the right arm reaching in front. Holding it there for a breath just to feel what your balance is like. Enjoy that stretch. And then start to bring in that little crunch and reach. So you'll notice if you engage your core muscles, if you draw the belly button up towards the spine, it's almost like you feel like you're lifting out from your hand and your knee. That pressure is no longer going right the way down into the floor. You have like a feeling of lightness almost. Last one. And place them back down. Give those hips a little bit of a wiggle from side to side. Just release that lower back. And then we're going to sit back onto the heels and take a child's pose for a moment. So resting that head down, either onto the mat or give yourself a little pillow with the fists and rest the head down on there. So child's pose is a resting pose, and this is available to you at any point during the practice. If you feel that you want to just take a little breather, sit anything out, you can always come back to this child's pose to catch your breath and have a little bit of a rest. So thinking about where that breath is going now as we come back to our diaphragmatic breathing. We're inhaling to soften and exhaling to draw everything in. Think about that rib cage expanding out and back. And then we're going to reach our arms out in front of us Take a lovely big stretch here. Feel that stretch across your shoulders and down the outside of those arms. And then taking both hands over towards the right, just placing the left hand on top of the right. And feel that lovely big stretch all the way down the left side of your body. So stretching across that shoulder joint, all the way up to the fingertips and down towards your hips as well. Keep the head nice and relaxed. And then bring the hands back to the centre and take them over towards the left. So the right hand resting on top of the left. Feel that big stretch moving over to the other side. And then back to the centre. Spread your fingers wide now like a starfish. And we're going to start to plant those hands nice and firmly into the mat in preparation for coming up into our downward facing dog. So when you're ready, take a deep breath in. Rock your weight forward so you can tuck those toes under. And as you exhale, lift the knees and take those hips nice and high. Now at first we're going to keep those knees soft and bent and just concentrate on taking the hips as high as you can. So really tilt that pelvis so that those hips are reaching up towards the ceiling. And only then, if you want to start to think about straightening those legs, you can do. You might want to pad those feet, bending one knee and then the other, stretching down the back of the legs. But downward dog is primarily a back stretch, so even if you want to keep those legs bent, that's absolutely fine, and just enjoy that stretch all the way down the back of your body. Now, this is an option for you. Downward dog is already a really strong move to work on your core, but if you want to increase that challenge, we can rock the weight forward into a bit of a plank, and then rock the weight back, take those hips up. So this little flow is really, really good for working on those core muscles, but it is quite challenging. So if it feels too much for you, you might want to just do one or two, or you might want to just hold it in that downward dog. And remember, anytime you need a break, just drop those knees down, come into that tabletop position for a little breather. Okay, and from our downward dog, we're just going to walk the hands and the feet together, coming into a nice forward fold. So take a little bend in the knees, keep those knees nice and soft, and just let those arms be heavy. Hanging here in ragdoll pose for a few breaths. So just feeling your chest and your belly sinking down towards those legs. And let the arms hang heavy. And it might feel nice to sway a little bit. Just let those arms go. And to make the stretch a little bit stronger into your back, you can hold on to your opposite elbows. And relax your head down. So give that head a little shake. Letting go of any tension in the neck. And then drop the hands back down. So we're just going to do a couple of little twists here. So keeping your right hand on the mat, let's open that left arm up towards the ceiling and then bring it back down. And the right. So definitely bending the opposite knee will help you with your twist. So just do a few of these on each side. Opening that chest out to the side, twisting into that torso. We're still working with that core of our body, but getting a little bit of a twist in there now. And the last one. Bringing it back down, and then slowly start to curl yourself back up. So keep the knees soft, keep the arms heavy, and roll yourself up to standing. Rolling those shoulders back and down. Okay guys, so we've come to our standing section of the class now. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit warmed up. We're going to warm ourselves up a bit more now. Okay, so standing with your feet about hip width apart and your toes facing forward. Let's roll the shoulders back and down and relax the arms down by our sides. Standing in mountain pose, so standing nice and strong and tall. Take a few breaths here, come back to that diaphragmatic breathing once again. So we want a nice strong core when we're standing in mountain pose. Inhaling through the nose, allowing everything to soften. Exhaling through the mouth, draw everything in and up. And again, deep breath in and out. Inhale to float your arms up and over your head. Bring the palms together and exhale to bring them down in front of you. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Just moving with your own breath. And this time we're going to keep those arms up there. And then bring the right hand down by the side and reach over into a side stretch with that left arm. So we want to think about keeping our torso nice and square here, so we don't want to reach forward or lean back. We're just reaching over with that arm. And then swap sides, bringing that right arm up and over. So using this standing leg, this supporting hand on the leg, just to stop you from slumping down, protecting that lower back. Going back the other way. And one last time, over to the other side. Excellent. So we're going to move through our sun salutation sequence now. It's a warm-up sequence. It's a strong one that we associate with the core. So I want you to come towards the top of your mat. Just make sure you've got some space behind you to step back into. So come back into that nice strong mountain pose, standing with the feet hip width. Palms facing forward, shoulders rolled back and down. Lifting up for the crown of your head. And just gently tuck the chin in slightly to lengthen through the back of the neck. Inhale to float your arms up and over your head, reaching nice and tall. And then exhale, take a slight bend in the knees and hinge forward from the hips, bringing those hands all the way down towards the floor. Inhale into a halfway lift, rest those hands on the shins, nice flat back. And exhale to fold forward again. Bend those knees a bit more this time. We want to get the hands all the way down to the floor. So bend those knees as much as you need to do that. Take a deep breath in and we're going to step the left foot back. Taking a really big step back as far as you will go. And then we're going to take a big step back with the right leg, joining the left. Now for now we're going to drop down to the knees. But there will be an option next time we do this to stay in that plank if you want to challenge yourself. So we're going to lower down onto our belly now, but I want you to do this as slowly as you can. So keep your elbows hugged in nice and close towards your ribs. and start to bend them as we lower, lower, lower into Chaturanga, our yoga push-up, all the way down onto the floor. So keep the legs pressed firmly together now and start to switch on those core muscles, and we're going to use the core to help the chest and head lift a little bit away from the floor. So you should not be putting any pressure into your hands here, it's your core that is lifting you up. And then soften and release, bring the head back down. Inhale to press yourself back up into a tabletop position. And then tuck your toes under and exhale to lift the knees, take the hips high into downward dog. Look forward in between the hands, and that's where you're going to step your right leg. So take as many steps as you need to get that foot up towards the top of the mat. And we're going to stay here, so we're not going to step the other leg forward just yet. Instead, we're going to lift up into a high lunge. So keeping that front knee nice and bent over the ankle. And then keep that back leg straight as well. So think about lifting that back knee up into the thigh, nice and strong. Good. Hips want to be facing forward. And then we've got a couple of options here for the arms. You can keep your hands together in front of your heart if you don't want to lift the arms up over your head. Or alternatively, you can inhale and take those arms up, reaching nice and tall into Warrior One. So it's a balance this. You're probably feeling a little bit wobbly, and that's good. It means the core is working. Reaching those arms up and lengthening. And then as you exhale, we're just going to twirl those wrists, bringing it all the way down. And then place the hands back down either side of that front foot, and we're going to step the back foot forward to join it. Back into our forward fold. Inhale into a halfway lift, just straightening those legs, reaching forward with the crown of the head. And exhale to fold forward once again. And then finally inhale, we're going to hinge with the hips and come all the way up, reaching those arms all the way up to the ceiling. Bring the palms together and down. Excellent, that's half of our sun salutation done. So we need to repeat that once more, leading with the other leg. So just make sure that your position is alright, that you've got that bit of space behind you. And then come back to mountain pose, feet hip width apart, toes facing forward, roll the shoulders back and down. Now inhale, float your arms up and over your head. Exhale to bend the knees, hinge forward from the hips, all the way down to the floor. Inhale to halfway lift, nice flat back. Exhale, fold forward more deeply, right the way down into that forward fold. Hands come down to the mat, and we're going to step back with the right foot this time, stepping into that big lunge. Now when we step back with the left foot, you've got the option to stay there in a plank or drop the knees down to the floor. So take that big step back, and I'm going to drop my knees down because I've not been well. I've got an excuse. But whatever feels right for you, if you want to stay with that plank, then challenge yourself. Switch on that inner fire. And slowly as we can, let's lower down onto our tummy. Keep those elbows hugged in. Lowering, lowering, lowering in Chaturanga. All the way down onto our belly. Start to engage the core, squeeze those legs together and lift that upper body away from the floor. Give the hands a little wiggle so we know we're not using our arms to cheat. And then lower yourself back down. Press yourself back up into a tabletop position now. Onto those hands and knees. And then tuck the toes under, take a deep breath in, and exhale to lift those hips high in downward dog. Pausing here for a little breather and a little stretch, maybe bending those knees one at a time. And then look forward in between your hands, and that's where you're going to step the left foot this time. So as many steps as you need to get it there. That really big step forward. And lift up into that high lunge. Keeping that front knee over the ankle. And lifting that back knee so that that back leg is really straight and strong. Facing forward. Hands either here in front of your heart, or reaching and lengthening up into Warrior One. So keep those hips sinking nice and low. Don't let those legs relax. You want everything switched on and working hard. And then let's float the hands down. Nice twirling of those wrists. All the way down, bring the hands to the floor. And take a big step forward with the right foot to join the left. Back in our forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward once more. And then inhale to come all the way up, reaching those hands in front. And up and over your head. And finally down in front of you. Oh, well done, guys. That definitely warmed me up now. Hopefully it has done for you as well. Remember, we're lighting that inner fire, getting ourselves nice and energised. Right. So I always like to do a balance during my beginners classes, and this is going to be a little flowing sequence that incorporates a balance called Warrior 3. So we did our Warrior 1 just then, which was our strong pose. Warrior 3, we're reaching forward. So we're going to build up to it and work through a flowing movement. So we're using our core to keep us steady, to keep us upright and stop us from falling over. So for this one, you want to be probably towards the middle of your mat, making sure that you've got some room in front and some room behind. Plant those feet down nice and firmly. Maybe lift your toes, spread them wide and then place them back down, building up those strong foundations into the mat to help us with our balance. Start to switch on the core, draw the belly button in towards the spine. And then we're going to bring all of our weight into our right foot now. So starting to lift the left heel so that we're taking the weight out of that foot. And we're going to bring that left leg up in front of us. So bending at the knee. And take a moment now just to see how it feels. Okay, so if it feels at all wobbly, find yourself something that you can focus on. So we're looking for a little spot on the wall or the floor, something that's still, that you can still your mind and focus, and it should help to still your body as well. So taking the hands around the knee, and let's lift that knee up towards the body. Again, trying to stand nice and still, really concentrating on that balance. I'm so sorry if you can hear my two kids crying but downstairs, by the way. They are with their dad, I've not just left them. Okay guys, this is looking good. So this is the difficult bit. We're going to let go of that knee. We're going to reach the arms out in front and start to take the leg out behind. Reaching those arms forward. Kicking that leg back into Warrior 3. So think about this as like a kind of like a Superman pose. We're flying really strong, and then see if you can come back the same way. Bring that foot down. Well done guys. Let's have a go with the other side. So nice and strongly rooting down with those feet. Putting all the weight into the left foot this time as we lift the right. Bending the knee in front. pausing for a moment just to see how the balance is, because remember it can be very different on one side of the body to the other. And then holding around the front of the knee, lifting that leg up and in. So standing nice and tall and strong. And let's see if we can do our warrior 3 on this side. So let go of that knee, reach the arms in front and start to take that leg back. Kicking that heel out behind you. Reaching forward with those hands. And find your spot to focus on. Nice and strong. And can you bring it back? Bringing that knee back in. Well done. That is a really strong balancing pose, but really, really good for the core and channeling that kind of warrior energy as well, which is what we want to light up our inner fire. Okay, we're going to sit down now, but we're not quite having a rest just yet. So if you want to bring yourself to sit down with your feet out in front of you and knees bent. So we're going to work on our core a little bit more now with a pose called Navasana or boat pose. Now this is a great one because there are a number of different levels to this, so we can go with whatever feels alright for us at the time, and then you've got somewhere to go, you've got something to work up to each time you have a go at this pose. So the first level of this pose is simply just to take your hands off your knees, so we're just reaching them nice and softly in front, and we're just going to take our upper body back, and you should reach a point where you start to feel those core muscles kick in, and when you reach that point I want you to hold it there, okay, and that's all you need to do. So we're starting to engage those muscles, drawing the belly button into the spine. Now the temptation here is probably going to be to round through the back, so I want you to remind those shoulders to roll back and down. We want a lovely straight back here as we lean back into this pose. Now if at any point you start to get any pain in your lower back, bring yourself back out of the pose. Pain in your lower back means your core muscles have switched off and they're not doing their job. So we need to come out of it and we need to have a word with them, get them to switch back on, and then carefully come back into it. Okay? Does that feel alright? Now if that's enough for you, I want you to stick with that and we'll just keep repeating that same one, but I will take you through a few other levels that we can use with this as well. Okay, so this time we're going to bring the hands down to the floor behind us so we can lean back into them, and we're just going to lift one leg at a time and lower it. Okay, so we're still working with those core muscles, we're working with those lower abdominals here that are controlling the lift and lower of those legs. Okay, so again, this might feel just right for you and you want to stick with this. Just whatever is challenging that core today, that's what we want to stick with. The next level, we're going to hold on to the back of our thighs. Take that weight back, remember nice straight back here, and we're going to lift up one leg. And then we're going to lift the other foot off the floor as well. So it's a bit of a balance here. We're balancing on that tailbone, holding on nice and tightly to those legs, making sure that you roll those shoulders back so that that back is nice and straight. Okay, so this is almost our full boat pose now. There's a couple more levels to go. But again, this might be great for you and you might want to stay with that, and that's fantastic. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, we're going to release the hands from the legs and reach them out in front. So really strong now on the core, Don't compromise that back. So if you start to round through the back or get any pain in the lower back, drop back down to the previous level where you can really focus on working those core muscles. And then the final level, I don't know if I'll be able to do this one today, is to straighten out those legs. Reaching them up into the air. Ooh, I can only do that for a few seconds. That's a really strong one. So wherever you got up to with that pose, well done. That is really, really strong, working on those core muscles. So we're going to take it now into a little bit of a roll down. So this is more of a Pilates move. Bring yourself a little bit further forward so you've got some space behind you, because we're going to take ourselves to lie down. But we're going to do it very slowly and with control, using the core to help us. So sitting up nice and tall, reaching forward with those arms, we're going to start to roll ourselves back. Slower is harder, remember, you can flop yourself down quickly and it's no effort at all on the core. We want to do it slowly. So keep reaching the arms in front. Imagine someone's holding your hands to lower you down. And then we're placing that spine on the mat. And then we're going to take the arms up and over the head for a lovely little stretch. And then bring them back up. And we're going to sit back up now. So this is the hardest bit. So imagine someone's taking hold of your hands and they're starting to pull you up. Curling back up through that spine. Excellent. We'll do that a few more times. So if that is too challenging for you, if you're finding that you really can't get up off the floor, that is absolutely fine. And the alternative for that is just to lift up a little bit. So just picking those shoulders up and lowering. Taking the arms up and over your head each time. So we're just lifting ourselves up to wherever we can. So really slowly, using that control in the core. And last time, now we're going to lower ourselves down, and you'll be pleased to know we're going to stay down then. Reaching your arms over your head and straighten out those legs as well, taking a nice full body stretch. And then bring the hands back down by the sides and slowly bring the knees into the chest and hugging one knee in and the other. Give them a nice squeeze and maybe rock from side to side, so massaging into that lower back. That lower back will have been coming under some strain during the session. As much as we've been focusing on that core, I'm sure the lower back will feel this as well, so let's give that a little bit of love. Massage it into the mat. And then keep hold of your right knee. We're just going to straighten out that left leg. Bringing the foot down to the floor. And if it feels okay on your hips and your lower back, you can straighten out that left leg. But if it feels too much, just keep that little bend in it. So squeezing that right knee in nice and close towards your chest. And kick through the left heel. Switching on that left leg. Making it a lovely stretch. And then start to bend that left leg, bring it back into the chest and swap sides. Holding the left, bringing the right foot to the floor, and then slide it out away from you. Hugging that left knee in nice and tight. And remember to kick through that right heel, engaging all of those muscles in the leg, making it a much more active stretch. Bring that knee back into the chest as well, hugging both of them in as you have another little rock. And then we're going to keep those knees bent there, just over the chest, and bring the hands down to the floor by the sides of you. So coming out into a T shape with the palms facing down. And we're going to take it into a little bit of a twist here, but we're using our core muscles to control this movement. So we're just going to let both knees fall over to the left, only taking them over slightly until you start to feel those core muscles kick in. And at that point where you feel you might just fall down to the floor, we use that core to bring those knees back to the centre. And then let them go over to the right. Again, reaching that point of balance there, and then drawing those legs back in using the core. So just let them go from side to side. Think about pressing your lower back down into the floor as you come back to the centre. Just to reset that spine, switching on the core once again. And remember, you can make this movement smaller. If it feels a bit intense, you can just let those knees go very, very slightly from side to side. Or you can take them right to that point where the core really starts to work. Okay, letting our core relax now, we'll lower those legs all the way over towards the left side, bringing them down to the floor into a twist. So bring your focus to your right shoulder. Just make sure that shoulder hasn't lifted from the floor. So if it's lifted, it means you've rolled onto your side, which is not a twist, and that's not what we want. So bring that shoulder back down to the floor, even if it means bringing the legs in slightly. And you should feel that lovely big twist all the way down the right side of the body. And to make it an even bigger twist, we turn the head towards the right, looking away from the bent legs, and hold it there for a couple of breaths. And then bring the head back to the centre, and to help those knees come back into the centre, we need to switch on the core and bring them all the way back up, and then let them go over towards the right. I need to shuffle slightly so I've got room for my legs. That's it. Now keep the left shoulder down and turn the head to face the left as well. Letting your body relax into this twist now. So we're softening the core muscles and just allowing the torso to enjoy that twist. And then carefully bring it back up. Hug those knees in nice and tight towards your chest. Maybe rock from side to side. And then bring one foot down to the mat and then the other. Sliding those feet out. And taking a nice full body stretch. So float your arms up and over your head. Reaching nice and tall. And then bringing the arms back down by your sides. And we're going to come into our final resting pose now, Shavasana. So let those arms just flop out to the sides with the palms facing up. And let your feet flop out to the sides as well. So have a little wiggle, get yourself comfortable in this position. And then either close your eyes or soften your gaze. And just let yourself completely relax into this final pose. So gently tucking your chin towards your chest to lengthen through the back of your neck. And spread your shoulders wide beneath you. Wiggle your hips to allow your lower back to find a comfortable position to rest in. And then allow yourself to return back to the breath. So we've worked with our diaphragmatic breathing throughout this session. We're going to allow ourselves to breathe more naturally now, so whether that might be breathing in and out through the nose or the mouth. However you want to breathe, just allow the breath to become more natural. And start to visualize the journey of that breath as it travels in and out of your body. Breathing it in and drawing it all the way down to your chest and further down to your belly. And then allowing everything to exhale as it comes back up and out. Now as you lie here relaxing and breathing in this way, start to visualize right at the core of your body, just above your belly button, a glowing ball of yellow light, a ball of energy, and this is your inner fire. Now every time you take a lovely deep breath in, feel that ball of energy growing, becoming brighter and bigger. Every time you breathe in, you are adding to that sensation of strength and power that you have there in your belly, in your core of your body. And as you keep breathing in this way, feel that light expanding to fill the whole of your torso. And expanding further still with every breath. Until eventually your whole body is filled with this glowing yellow light. And you can take this inner fire with you into your day and use it for whatever purpose you might have. So keeping that lovely energy and that nice fire there in our belly, we're just going to allow our body to soften and relax, letting go. And starting to absorb all of the benefits of our practice today. Beginning down at your feet and relaxing your feet and your ankles. Allowing your calves and shins to relax. Your knees and your thighs relaxing. Soften and relax your glutes and your pelvic floor. Allow your hips to release any tension. Relaxing up the back of your body, your lower back, middle back and upper back. And relaxing down the front of your body, allowing your chest to soften and all of those strong core muscles. Allow them to completely relax and let go. Relaxing your shoulders and all the way down your arms, your upper arms, your forearms, your wrists and your hands. Relax your neck and the back of your head, your forehead, your cheeks and your jaw, your whole body, completely calm and relaxed, enjoying this golden glow that fills your body. Feeling calm, relaxed, but also strong and empowered. And when you're ready, begin to bring the awareness back into your body, starting to wriggle your fingers and toes. Beginning to make some small movements with your body, moving in any way that you feel you need to help yourself wake back up once more. And then when you're ready, roll yourself over onto one side and slowly bring yourself back up into a seated position. Sit yourself up nice and tall. And we'll finish with these final deep breaths in. So as we inhale, float the arms up and over the head. Exhale the palms together and down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And one last time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Tuck your chin to your chest and bow down to honour your practice and that of everybody who's joined us here this morning and everybody who will catch up on this session in their own time. Namaste everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it. And remember, these sessions stay in the Facebook group forever, so you've got the rest of this month to go back and redo them and redo any of the other ones that are on file. And in a few days' time I will be announcing the dates for next month's one, and then when the time comes I'll open up the booking for the passes for next month. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your Easter weekend. Make sure you get yourself some rest as well, and hopefully we're going to have a little bit of nice weather, so maybe get outdoors and get a bit of fresh air. So take care guys, and I will see you all soon.